Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Boutique Bookkeeper Show. This episode is going to be all about getting started with QuickBooks Online and how to know which subscription level is right for your business. We'll walk through the different subscription levels and then the steps that you need to do before you actually start using QuickBooks to make your bookkeeping easier and faster. Hey there, and welcome to the Boutique Bookkeeper Show, where we take the mystery out of your money and make your numbers make sense. I'm Megan, virtual bookkeeper and bookkeeping coach, and I love helping female boutique owners just like you finally feel confident about the financial side of your business. If you're tired of feeling anxious every time you have to open QuickBooks, or if you're making sales but constantly left wondering, where did all that money go? You're in the right place. We'll cover all things bookkeeping and taxes, all in plain English, so you can be less intimidated by the numbers and finally start to use them to help you grow a profitable boutique. So, if you're ready to stop avoiding this whole numbers thing and start keeping more of the money you make, grab your coffee and your calculator and let's dive in. Alright, so if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that my favorite bookkeeping software is QuickBooks Online. And in fact, it's really the only software that I will work with anymore. But today I am here to walk you through exactly how to get started with QuickBooks Online in order to simplify your bookkeeping and make it even faster. Alright, so QuickBooks offers several different subscription levels, and the right one for you and your boutique will depend on what you want the software to do for you. So I will link in the show notes the QuickBooks page that lists out all of the different subscription levels and all of the different features that each level has available, but I'm just going to talk through some of the big differences that could be beneficial to you and your boutique. So I will also do a little side note here. If you already have a QuickBooks Online account, you can easily upgrade or downgrade your account by clicking on the little gear icon when you're logged in, and then go to subscriptions and billing. And if you realize that you need to upgrade or downgrade to take advantage or get rid of some of these features that you don't need, you can easily do so right there. All right, so the first level is the Simple Start level. And quite honestly, if you are in the early stages of business, this is the level that you need. You do not need to upgrade to any of the more advanced platforms. The Simple Start will give you everything that you need. It has all of the core features, include being able to link your bank and credit card accounts, create template transactions to easily input your point of sale numbers, and there are plenty of reporting options for you. So if you are just looking to get started, Simple Start is quite honestly all that you need. The next level up is Essentials. This level includes all of the features from Simple Start, but one of the most helpful additional features is bill management. So if you find yourself struggling to stay on top of outstanding bills from vendors and forgetting to pay them on time, this might be a feature worth upgrading for. The next level is Plus, and this includes all of the features from Essentials and Simple Start, but it does have the additional feature of being able to organize your finances by location or classes. So this level can be beneficial if you operate out of several locations and you want to be able to see your finances broken out accordingly. You may also note that the Plus subscription level includes inventory management, but you do not need this because your point of sale system already does this for you. You don't need to manage your inventory in two separate locations. Honestly, that's just a recipe for disaster, so let your point of sale system do the inventory management. Your QuickBooks will help you track the finances. The final subscription level is the Advanced level, and honestly, I'm not even going to touch on this because chances are it is way more than anyone needs here, so I'm not even going to touch on it. So I will link to the page that lists all of the features of every subscription level down below here, but just remember that whatever you choose now is not set in stone. You can easily upgrade or downgrade if you decide that you want to change the features available to you. All right, so you signed up for your QuickBooks account. Now what? The rest of this episode is going to be walking through some of the different setup pieces that you should be doing as soon as you sign up for QuickBooks before you start using it to get the greatest benefit out of using a software to help you save time with your bookkeeping. So the first step is to simply review your account and settings. So once you are logged into your QuickBooks, you can click the little gear icon in the upper right-hand corner and click Account and Settings. And here is where you're going to find all of the different logistical information about your business, name, address, things like that. Make sure that all of that is accurate. And then if you go to the Advanced tab, you're going to review a couple different things here. One, you're going to make sure that the first month of the year there is January, unless you have applied with the IRS to have a different fiscal start date. Chances are it's going to be January unless you have specifically stated you want your fiscal calendar to follow a different month. Then you obviously make sure that it chooses that month, but chances are it's probably just January, so make sure that says January. Next thing you want to do is make sure the accounting method is listed as cash. There are some differences between accounting for accrual basis and cash basis, but 95% probably of small businesses operate under cash basis, so we want to make sure that that is the method that we are choosing there. You also want to make sure that the tax form that you select there is correct for your business entity type. So if you are a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, you are just going to choose the 1040 Schedule C option there. If you are a partnership or an S Corp, you are going to want to make sure that you choose the tax form that is appropriate for your entity type. That just kind of helps QuickBooks identify what settings need to be done on the back end to match your entity type. Next step is just make sure that your currency is correct. So if you are in the US, you just want to make sure it's the US dollar. And then there are some other preference options there that you can adjust to your liking. There's no right or wrong answer there. It's just make sure that you choose the option that is best for you. Once you have reviewed all of your accountant settings, you want to move next to setting up your chart of accounts. Now, the episode just prior to this is all about detailing out your chart of accounts and understanding what that is. Once you sign up for QuickBooks Online, they will actually preload a template chart of accounts for you, but let's be honest, it is trash because they have more than 100 accounts in there. You're likely never going to use most of them. So honestly, if this is your first interaction with QuickBooks Online, go ahead and select all of them and delete, and you can import the template that I have available for you. It's at findingfreedomfinancial.com/COA-template. I'll link it below in the show notes, but this is a template that you can customize to fit your exact business needs, upload it directly into QuickBooks Online, and it is going to make your bookkeeping and your financial reporting reports just so much easier to read and understand. So please do not start with the preloaded chart of accounts in your QuickBooks because it is way too confusing and it will make your financial reports really difficult to see and understand and get the clear picture of your finances. So to find your chart of accounts in QuickBooks Online, you are going to navigate to Transactions on the left-hand menu, and from there you'll be able to select your chart of accounts. There should be a box at the top in your header of all the different chart of accounts where you can select all. You're just going to make them inactive. There's probably a couple in there that it won't let you delete, and that's fine. They can just hang out there. They're defaults for certain things behind the scenes. So totally fine just to leave them there, but go ahead and grab the template I have available for you. Follow the prompts to import, and your bookkeeping is going to be so much easier when you use a simplified chart of accounts versus the one that they have preloaded in there. All right, the next step you're going to have to do when you start using QuickBooks Online is setting your opening balances. So before you dive into all the daily bookkeeping, you need to make sure that your opening balances are entered correctly. If you are brand new to business and you're going to be entering all of your historical bookkeeping information, you may be able to skip this step, but if you are going to start using QuickBooks on January 1st of this year, and you already have money in your bank account, you already have inventory on hand, you're going to need to enter all of those beginning balances that you have on hand as of January 1st. Primarily, these are going to be any balances that you have for assets, so bank account balances, inventory levels. It's going to be any liability balances, so credit card balances, maybe sales tax that you collected last month that you owe this month, things like that. So if you need a refresher on what assets and liabilities are, I will link to the previous episode talking about the chart of accounts and what assets and liabilities are and all of that. I'll link that below in the show notes. But to get those beginning balances entered, you're going to need to click on the plus new button in your QuickBooks Online and click the journal entry option. So you're going to add a line in your journal entry for each asset and liability that you had as of January 1st. And you're going to enter the balances for any assets in the debit column. You'll see in your header there will be a debit and a credit column. Enter the balances in all of your assets as debits, and enter the balances for all of your liabilities as credits. Once you have all of those added, you're also going to add a line for retained earnings, and you're just going to let that number autofill. So in the world of accounting, in journal entries, your debit column needs to equal the total of your credit column. So you're just going to plug in whatever number you need in your retained earning line to get those columns to balance. And once it does, go ahead and click Save and Close, And that's how you enter your opening balances. All right, the next step you are going to do is you are going to be connecting your bank and credit card feeds. So probably the number one time-saving feature of using a software like QuickBooks is the ability to connect your bank and credit card accounts. So all of the transactions in those accounts feed into your software. And you're going to consider your bank feed screen or your transaction screen as like your to-do list for your bookkeeping. So once QuickBooks brings in that transaction, it's your job to tell QuickBooks what that transaction is for. And you'll also have the ability to create automation rules, which means that you can tell QuickBooks that for any debit coming out of your bank account for XYZ properties is your rent expense. So before that can happen, let's walk through how to connect these accounts. So in QuickBooks, you're going to navigate to transactions and bank transactions. And then there should be a little, I believe it's a green button that says link account. And you're just going to go through the prompts to log in to your online banking or credit card platform and select the account that you want to connect. And just remember that you typically do not want to connect any personal bank or credit card accounts. So make sure that you have opened accounts that are used exclusively for business and make sure that you are just connecting those accounts. All right, that is all that I have for you today, but remember that any new software takes a little bit of setup to ensure that it's as useful as it can be for you. So your bookkeeping software is no different. By taking a little bit of time right away to make sure everything is set up correctly, you could help save messes and headaches down the road. So take your time, follow these steps, and you'll soon find that managing your boutique's finances are more manageable and maybe even more enjoyable than ever. But if you're still overwhelmed after listening to this and you would rather see how to do all of this in action, then I want to invite you to check out Bookkeeping Made Simple for Boutiques, where I walk through how to do each of these steps in the very first module, and I would love to help guide you on your journey to feeling confident as you learn to manage the money side of your business. So that's all for now, and I will catch you next time. Hey there, and thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope that I shared something that helped you feel just a little bit more confident in understanding all the numbers in your boutique business. If you found this helpful, don't forget to go and leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That's the best way for other boutique owners just like you to find this podcast so I can help them feel just a little bit more confident in their numbers as well. If you have any questions about what you heard today, hop on over to Instagram and send me a DM at Finding Freedom Financial. I'll be back again real soon, but in the meantime, go implement or take action on something you learned today. I promise your future self will thank you.